Hey, everyone. Welcome to session number 4. Happy Thanksgiving. I am William Mears. Welcome to Fast Start session 4 for the December Dash. All right. So, um, you might be wondering if I'm okay. I'm actually all right. Well, I say that. I'm here. I'm here. And that's probably the main thing, I would think, right? Because I've got information to deliver. We had some challenges yesterday with the live stream. Still not sure what happened. I ran a couple test streams. Everything seemed to be fine. I'm looking at um, I'm looking at our data now. Actually, hold on. Let me pull that up over here. Yeah, our all our levels are good. Um, could be just, I don't know, maybe a bunch of people were online or something. I don't know what the deal was, but whatever happened, it totally screwed up our stream. No big deal. I went in and recorded a video of part two, pasted that into the comments. I'll make sure to upload that as an actual video if I can into the group, as well as YouTube and all the other different places that we're live streaming. So I am a bit under the weather, and but I'm here. That's the main thing. So um, does that mean that I'm going to be at my all-time best? No, it does not. But I'll tell you, there's reasons why you show up, even if you feel like shit. And you're going to get to see a lot of that today, and that's cool because somebody out there, if not many of you, need help. Need help, and I don't mean professional or professional help or psychological help. I mean, you need help in your business, and you're counting on me. And you're going to find as you build the business that eventually, and not too far off from now, there are going to be people that are counting on you, and so that level of commitment needs to be there. Now, there are times where I do reschedule certain sessions just depending on what's going on or how important something else is in terms of getting done for you guys. Um, I don't like to do that, but in certain situations, I will do that. However, I always make those sessions up, right? And this is one of those sessions where because because I've made that commitment and because I told you that we're going to go through the holidays, unless I am stuck on the toilet, right? Which I'm not, thank goodness. I'm pretty close to that, but I'm not stuck on the toilet. So um, that means that I can sit in front of the screen at least for an hour and work with you guys and walk you through what the next steps are that you need to do and be focused on. Keep that right mindset. Plus, this is a good example, perfect example for me uh, to show you uh, what that looks like. It's not always, you know, rainbows and unicorns. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it looks like this. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes it looks like that. You got to have a sense of humor though. You got to roll with it. Do what you got to do, right? Okay. So let's do this. Let's go into, I say let's do this. You can already tell I'm in sales script mode for those of you that know. For those of you that don't, you're about to learn, and it's going to be fun. So let me head over to, actually, let me check my audios. I did not do that. If you are tuning in, I don't see anything in the comments yet. Sorry about that. Again, I just completely forgot to say hello to everybody. Hi, how are you? Um, welcome to session 4, Fast Start for December Dash. Happy to see you. Uh, feel free to chime in. Let me know where you're calling in from. I'm sure we'll have some people from the UK. They've been on these things like church sermons. I love it. Um, all practically religious, right? It's practically a religion. It's not, however, the commitment level is pretty close to that. Excuse me. Okay, so session 4. Sorry, lost my train of thought. I'm gonna head over there and feel free to comment. I've got a Zoom room and everything. Someone said hello. Let me go to the Facebook group and or the page, one of the two, and see who that was. Because sometimes Restream will tell me, and sometimes they won't. Um, I definitely get to see the comment that says hello, so I will say hello back while I'm looking that up. But I don't see. Oh, you know what? Maybe I need to do a quick refresh or something. Hold on. Let's see. There's the live stream. Oh, it's Christina. Hey, Christina. And Steve says happy Thanksgiving from Bishop. Is that Canada or California? I guess Canada, California. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've never heard of Bishop, but if I were to say If I were to take a guess, I'm willing to bet that's shit. I don't know. That might be Canada. I really don't know. Anyway, wherever you're from, California or Canada, it doesn't matter. California, very good. Okay. All right. Um, Happy to see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so again, levels of commitment, super, super important. Are you always going to be at your best? No. But again, there are people that are going to be counting on you. And here's the crazy thing about our business model is that there are people that you haven't even met today, right? You haven't met them yet today. And this happens to me all the time. So it will happen to you. And it's not like 6 months from now or a year from now. I'm talking maybe a couple weeks from now when you get going, you're going to have people that you haven't even met yet today that need your help. And it's all about whether you decide to show up or not, whether you feel like shit or not. And I'll tell you something, when you more times than not, not always, but more times than not, whenever I feel my worst is usually when I'm able to produce my best. Don't ask me why. Maybe it's because it requires a hyper focused level of concentration or something. I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm here to show you that not everything's all unicorns, rainbows and unicorns. I already said that. The idea is what we do about it anyway, right? What do we do because of that, right? Not using it as an excuse. Use it as the reason why, right? So that said, let's head over to my screen. I'm going to talk about session 4 today. Yeah, there we go. Go into present mode here. God Almighty, I did it again, didn't I? I always end up on. There we go. Now I can go to present mode. All right. Happy Thanksgiving from Loganville, Georgia. Loganville, that's got to be, yep, that's Clem. Hey, Clem. Good to see you, bud. Restream's not showing me your name. It just says Facebook user. I'll show you a screenshot of that one of these days. But I'm also in the Facebook group, so I can see over there if you're commenting and who it is. So, yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you too. Um, so, December Dash, we talked about the awards and details and the rules and all that kind of stuff. Um, Gonna just breeze through not the rules part, but the because those are posted, but the awards and then the announcement I made yesterday. I'll make sure to make that again today. So we have the Show Up Grow Up Award, which everybody can win that. It's based on attendance, and there's going to be certain tasks that you're going to need to do to complete in order to be counted for attendance, that kind of thing. There's going to be what we call total client count. So whoever has the most clients, there's going to be a first, second, and third place for that. And there's rules for that, of course. Got their first award. So this is for the people who get to 5 clients, or the person, excuse me, who gets to 5 clients first. And we have this at multiple levels. We have 5 clients, 10 clients, 20 clients, 30 clients, 5, 10, 20, 30, 5, 10, 20, 30. And that's called the got there first. And it's only awarded to one person, but whoever gets there first gets the award, right? Now, we're adding something that's very similar to this. I announced this yesterday, uh, and it's not a got there first award. It's modeled after that, but it's an individual achievement award, right? And that's going to be if you hit 5 clients, no matter what. Right? So you don't have to be the first in order to get something, which means there's a shot for every one of you to that are participating in the December Dash to win some cool shit, and not only win some cool shit, obviously build build an agency, but you get the point. Everything that I'm awarding and rewarding your behaviors for, in turn, produce the building of the business, right? So, and I didn't want to just leave everybody else out. Like once that 5 client is gone, everybody else is that hasn't hit that is going to say, oh. Well, I guess I'm out of the running for the next one too, so might as well not even. Now it's, hey, you can still hit 5 clients on the individual achievement and the 10, right? So there's nothing that says in a day. I've seen people do 7, 8 clients in a day. That's not an impossible thing. Um, Matter of fact, 2 or 3 clients in a day are pretty standard. Maybe not every day, but every couple days that can happen. And I've seen that happen, and I've been part of that, and I've had that happen. So there's no doubt in my mind that someone who is already at a few clients and somebody just got the 5 client award, there's no doubt in my mind that that person could not leapfrog uh, very easily the other person and hit 10. Okay, so don't let that fool you, but there is a personal achievement award we're going to be adding. I'll announce it officially on Saturday, and it's going to be based after the same numbers: 5, 10, 20, and 30. Okay, so 5, 10, 20, 30 for the got there first. Then there's something called the Best New Performance Award. This one is specific to people that are physically located in the U.S., right? And using ring ads. And then for the people who are not physically located in the U.S. and using ring ads, there's the Komodo Award, which is basically the same award just for people not physically located in the U.S. So there's a U.S. based award, there's a non-U.S. based award. Okay, that came from Adrian. Adrian gave us that. Um, Lego Man Award. This one's a special award. It's also, if you notice, pretty heavily weighted in terms of what's coming your way, and it's for the person who follows the instructions to a T. It's judged solely by me, kind of like a judge's favorite pick, not judge's pet. Okay, don't try to go that way with it, but definitely. Um, Based on my judgment, and I'll leave it at that. No points or anything like that based on that. So yeah, Lego Man Award, super important award because that means you're going to go very very far, or I expect you to go far if you maintain the habits that awarded you or got you the Lego Man Award. Okay, how points are awarded? One verified client is 10 points. Um, the every verified client result, sorry about that, is posted in the Ring Ads group. That's 10 points. Every call recording of a client close that you send into support, that's 50 points. Every $100 verified revenue, that's 10 points. And the got their first levels are 50 points for each level. Okay. What's a verified client? Glad you asked. That's a screenshot of revenue collected, Stripe and PayPal. It's got to be posted in the Ring Ads Facebook group. And when you post the picture of that in the Facebook group, the Ring Ads Facebook group, you want to make sure that things like transaction IDs, last names, any other client sensitive information, you want to make sure that that's all blurred out before posting. Not first names, mind you, but um, anything that you don't want to show, right? Like for example, let's say the vertical you're in, you don't want to give that away, but that happens to be in the invoice, the name on the invoice, the company name on the invoice. You can blur that, no problem, right? It's not required, but you can blur that if you want, if you choose to. First names, don't blur those. That way we can see, okay, it's an actual different person, right? You're not paying yourself, which is something that could be done. So there's obviously room for verification, all that kind of stuff, but transaction IDs, last names, you can blur those, no problem, and make sure that screenshot's posted. Those are the biggest things there. FAQs, I'll leave these up for you guys to take a look at and pause the video here very quickly. And then we'll go to the second screen of FAQs. We've kind of already gone over these for the last couple sessions, so I want to breeze through these. I don't want to spend a ton of time on these again. All right, session 4. What we're covering today, we'll talk about the 3 simple rules to massive success, software and training access. Of course, we're live streaming in multiple places and where we intend to grow audiences as well. That way you can find us. The live streams, which are a big part of that, especially coming up. This week has been pretty big, yes, but next week starts the December Dash, and that's every day for the entire month. So definitely a big part of what we do. And then support, okay? Seeing some things in support that I want to make sure that we're 100% on, crystal clear on, and we'll be good to go. Who do we got? Let's see. Wow, some people I haven't seen in a while that I'm grateful to see. Bob, happy Thanksgiving. Grateful to see you. Uh, I, I I know this guy. I know this name, and I don't want to butcher it, but I'm gonna have to say something because I haven't seen him in a while, and I'm very grateful to see him on with us as Gelati or Gelati. I hope I said that right. Um, Might be Gelati. I don't know, but um, happy to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, man. It's good to see you. Clem, don't worry about your internet. Just catch us later on the replay. No big deal. I totally get it. Sometimes, like I said yesterday, we had the issues over here, so totally understand. No big deal. Do what you got to do, man. Enjoy your Thanksgiving as well. Okay, so we're also going to be talking about the sales script and the finer points of it to help you really get that down for when you start up next week. right? Or whenever you do start up, if it's not next week. We're going to talk about the what I call a winning pay-per-call agency owner's mindset. Okay, we're going to talk about mindset a little bit, and I say a little bit. That's probably going to be where we spend most of our time. And then, of course, I'm going to reemphasize. I'll just do this right now. Tracking. Keep a good log of exactly what it is that you have left to do, what you've done, and make sure that it's marked very clearly so that you can see, wow, I've actually made significant progress here, and it really makes things, especially days like today for me, the tracking aspect really shows me how, okay, uh, I don't have to beat myself up because I'm sick or under the weather. I don't have to freak out because I know that I've gotten this done. I'm actually ahead of schedule, and not even if there was a schedule, right? There's not a schedule. So I get done what I get done when I get it done. And I got a lot done already. And I know that when I feel better, I'm going to get even more done, right? That's how I look at it. And so should you. And then, of course, finishing anything that's not completed from yesterday or the previous sessions, and that requires looking at your tracking. So those two are covered. So now we got to talk about sales script and the agency owner's mindset. But before we do that, let's part of the mindset is the three simple rules to master success, right? Like I talk about these all the time. Only, excuse me, only follow the training provided, work consistently, and use support for any issue, right? These are important, and there are a few of you who have really latched onto this, and I'm grateful for that. There are many of you who have yet to, and it's my job to figure out why, and also to make this happen for you, right? To meet you, even if I can't meet you in the middle, like, and have to come over the middle of the bridge, if you will, to meet you further back, I will do that if I need to. Sometimes I don't know what it is that you need because the people that need aren't really telling me what they need. So I'm all ears, right? If you're on right now and there's been something you've needed in the past that I haven't bent over backwards yet to provide, it doesn't mean that I'm unwilling. It just means maybe I don't know about it, right? And so communication is super important. That's where the support number three, that rule comes into play, right? And as soon as I can understand that, then you're going to be able to work at this more consistently. And if you're following the training while you work at this consistently, then now you're in alignment with all three rules. I mean, it's really not that difficult in terms of what these rules govern and why they work so well. Um, it's not because I'm always right or because I always have the right answers. It's because I know way more about the model, right? And at a certain point, I do want you to. Here's how I describe it. Let me come back to my screen so you can see my face. I know that's horrible to look at right now, but we got to do what we got to do. There, excuse me. When it comes to training, um, I have a saying that, and it goes something like this. I love creative people. I am a creative person. There's nothing more than I love to build or to create, and so I tend to attract those kinds of people. And so I understand that out of the gate, which is why I say don't get creative now. Now is not the time for you to get creative. Neither is 2 weeks from now. Neither is probably 2 months from now, no matter how many clients you pull in. You could pull in two clients over the next 2 months, 20 clients over the next 2 months, or 200 clients over the next 2 months. And I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be the time for you to get creative because it's too new. It's like trying to learn how to do tricks on a motorcycle 2 weeks or 2 months after the day that you bought it. It's still not long enough. You really need to ride well, those of you who ride motorcycles know this. You really need to ride for an extended period of time and take some training courses, some advanced training courses, in order to even get to that point of knowing your bike really, really well. And that's a big part of um, doing a lot of not necessarily tricks, but just handling the bike at a pro level or even an amateur level. Um, which helps with bike safety, right? It helps a lot with that. So, getting a bike is welcome to the war, right? You just started, and so it takes a lot of training ongoing, and you get creative later. You don't try the tricks that you want to try. You try the tricks or the the things that you're trained on first and you master those, then you can get creative later. So, same concept here. I'm not saying don't get creative. I'm just saying get creative later, right? I've got everything you need to start, and not only start, but go a hell of a long way before you ever have to engage your brain in a way of creative thinking. Now, for creative people, if it's completely uncontrolled or unhinged, it's difficult to let that sink in, or to not obey that rule, because it's not really like obey. It's more of a guideline, but at the same time, if you don't have the financial resources and the staff resources and the systems and processes to govern consistent profits, and you're already starting to get creative, you're going to tank your own business very, very quickly. And I don't want to see that for anybody. So that's why I say get creative later, right? It's part of the mindset, super important. Consistency, right? Working at this thing consistently is key, because it helps build up the momentum. When you have momentum, you're able to uh, do a lot of things that maybe you wouldn't normally do. Think of it as like the steroids to working out. Like, you can work out without steroids, and I know steroids aren't healthy. I get that, but I'm just giving you an example, like a pump. Hell, there's even nitric oxide compounds that you can take to get like a good workout pump, and those are a lot healthier anyway than steroids would be for your heart and everything. But at the same time, you feel it, and those of you who've taken those supplements, you know what I'm talking about. Um, but the idea is you're going to be able to do on momentum, right? On momentum, you're going to be able to do a lot more than you would ever be able to do uh, just going in cold. Now, if you don't keep up consistently with the business, and if you aren't following the training, even if you are consistent, here's the thing. If you don't have these two, here's what happens. You lose your momentum. So now you're back in the gym with no pump, right? You just little old you. And don't get me wrong, you can eventually get to the pump, right? You can eventually get worked out, right? And feel good, but it's going to take more time. And you're starting over. It's like it would be like going to the gym and building this awesome body and 8 pack and, Fight Club fit, and you walk out of there and you're just, I mean, you're ripped, right? You're shredded. And then letting it all go, like letting it go to nothing, and then going back to the gym to build all of that again. Like that's what happens when you lose your momentum. So following the training, working consistently helps you maintain and build the momentum to where you get to that Fight Club level and you can maintain it. It is sustainable. Uh, but you have to work at it consistently. You have to follow the training. Okay. And then of course support. So a lot of people have difficulty doing certain exercises, to stick with the analogy here, right? You need a trainer, or you need help, you need mentorship. And the mentorship is there, yes, but for everybody else who's not quite there yet, you support. Um, I don't do. I saw this come up earlier. No big deal, but just be aware there are 5 dedicated channels to use and support. Um, there are uh, some that are private, and some that are or can be private, and some that are public. Like the Facebook group obviously is going to be for everybody in the group to see. It's a safe space, but if there's something like a vertical you don't want to reveal or something, then I would highly recommend you send in a support ticket then, and ask away that way. Um, so yeah, there are ways to do that. Private messaging is not going to be one of those things. I reserve that. I mean, I don't know if you know this or not, but like if you were to look at my Facebook profile, I don't have a ton of friends on it. That's because I don't have a ton of friends. I have a ton of people that know me, and a ton of people that I know, and a ton of people I haven't spoke to in years. And that doesn't mean that I don't like them enough to have them on my Facebook or anything. But I use Facebook in a very literal sense of the word friend, right? And so if I friended someone, it's because we're friends, not because um, Facebook's really diluted and watered down the word friend, actually, in my mind. But again, that's how I use it. You'll notice I have less than 150 friends, I believe. And at one point, years and years ago, before I started really cultivating and gardening, if you will, my curating. That's the word I'm looking for. before I started curating my social profiles, I had over 3,000, almost 4,000 friends on Facebook, and I just canceled all of them that I hadn't spoke to in more than 6 months because what do they need, right? Why do they need that kind of access? They don't. And so it's really helped, especially as I've grown things out to where people stick out like a sore thumb when they're trying to either take advantage or and even if they're not, to reach out in a certain way implies certain. You get the idea. There's just certain things that I draw lines on, and that's one of them. As you should, as you should. If you are, think about this for a second, and I'm not saying that I'm Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or anything, but if I were Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos and I had uh, and I aspired to be, let's say maybe not them personally, but uh, some version of that business wise, but in my own image, right? Let's say I'm striving for that. Well, then do you see them with, you know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of friends? No, they have what's called followers, and so um, if you anticipate on building that kind of a business, then you should be aware that that's probably something you're going to have to do eventually. And I just started early because it was much easier for management. And management and like I said, curating my own Facebook feed, Facebook actually gives me all kinds of positive stuff. You know how a lot of people are complaining about Facebook giving them negative stuff and polarizing political issues that they believe in to really just rile people up, right? I don't get any of that, right? I get shit from Tony Robbins and mentors of mine like Shannon Graham and Kevin Nations and on and on and on. And I see positive posts like Marcy Locke, Tyson Lee, um, all these people that I actually communicate with or have communicated with or love and love as humans and follow or have a great message. Gary Vee, there's another one. So there's a bunch of people that I follow like that and that I have not just followed but in my newsfeed that I've curated content over the years to where Facebook's not going to give me a bunch of stuff that I don't want. And so I've trained the algorithm to only give me what I want. And again, a lot of that comes down to also who I'm friends with, believe it or not. That's a part of the algorithm. And so um, I protect that. I protect that because my mind is there, right? I deal a lot in Facebook with all of you folks, right? And I want to share that with you because mindset. Notice how the rules of massive success, like you've got certain things that can impact you, and you may not even realize how much they impact you. I felt like a completely different man when I started curating my Facebook profile. For example, the burden was just gone. It almost felt like it was a burden to manage the profile. It got to the point where I just completely turned off my messaging app. I didn't even use Messenger at that point. This is way back, like 2013, something like that. And I was like, that's no way to live in hiding. You know what I mean? That's not cool. So I am an introvert, as I stated before, and I really am. Um, but that doesn't mean I should just hide from everybody. I don't believe in that. I do believe in uh, putting myself out there for people to learn from me. So if I got to do that, then that means I got to have Messenger on. But how do I do it, and what lines do I have, and so that's where all that kind of came in. So that all said, a lot of that comes down to mindset, right? A lot of that comes down to mindset and protecting it. Software training access. You guys know what to be working on. I've given you this list a couple times. This is super important. Helps you get set up. I would also add to this that you want to do that you want to write this down. You want to create a test account, as if you were a client of yours, right? Inside of Ring Ads. That way you can log into the back office and actually see what it looks like. Uh, and play around like with the wallet. You're going to need to be able to walk people through how to fund their wallet, right, with you, because you want people to be able to pay you without you even being around. Like for example, today's Thanksgiving, but what if their calls were running low and they were working, but you weren't? They'd be able to fund their wallet and the campaign would still run, right? So yeah, super important for you to be able to know what the accounts look like and log into the back office. I mean, this is something you're going to be teaching not only your staff on, but your clients on. So yeah, probably a good idea to go ahead and create a test account out of the gate, just so that you're familiar with what you're doing there, right? Ring Ads Facebook group, you guys know this. It's not a free speech forum, and that's on purpose, uh, because we have a no negative stuff. We have a zero tolerance policy for negative posts and things to complain. Listen, we're all human, right? Complaints happen. I get that. Some people complain more than others. I also get that. The Facebook group is just not the place for that, right? If you've got something to complain about, I will definitely hear you out. I've heard more complaints than you guys would probably be able to even fathom, let alone stomach. Okay. And I'm okay with that. Some of the complaints are have nothing to do with me, and some of them have everything to do with me, either from something I've done or not done for them, or they felt slighted, or whatever it is. Right? I do my best to hear the complaint and help you get some kind of a resolution that helps you. I mean, obviously, there's certain things that I'm not going to be able to do, and there's certain things I'm just not going to apologize for. I've had people criticize me for the cursing, or um, uh, I've had people call me out on my health, and I've had all kinds of things, just crazy things that I say crazy. They're not that crazy, but crazy as in, um, how does that help you, right? And what is it that I can do to help you? Because you want me to be, do you want me to be authentic, or do you want me to be fake and robotic? I mean, I guess you're looking for a robot who is chiseled and doesn't curse and has the exact same beliefs that you do. Well, keep looking, because that's not me, right? So there's nothing I'm going to apologize for that on. At the same time, though, if you want to complain about that, or you want to tell me some shit like that I suck or whatever, by all means, just do it in support, and I will address it. I will, and I do, because maybe there's something in the complaint. I tend to take complaints with a grain of salt, but at the same time, I do read into it and say, you know what, my health is not the greatest, and it is on my mind, and um, yeah, I got to work on that, or do this, or do that, and I don't necessarily say that out to the person, but I do take it to heart. So while they may have meant it as a complete negative, I don't necessarily turn it into a positive, but use it as constructive criticism. So I'm one of those people that can take criticism, just direct criticism, and turn it into constructive criticism without your help. So if you got something to bitch about, you can do it. Just do it in support, not in the group. You do it in the group, I'm busting you out immediately, right? There's no place for that in the group, because that's a safe space. There's no judgments like that made in the group, and that not only keeps me safe, more importantly, keeps you safe. This is a safe space in this group for you to be able to, and if you're not in the group yet, you can join that for free. It's in the Ring Ads Facebook group. Go to Facebook, type in @RingAdsOfficial. You should be able to see the Ring Ads Facebook group. It's called Ring Ads Paper Call, right? That's the Facebook group, and it's free to join. Same with the software, free for life. We do all that on purpose, right? There's reasons for that. Anyway, don't want you to get it twisted. The Facebook group is very much a safe space, and that's the reasons why. It's for sharing your progress, your wins, um, not just client wins, all the wins is right. I want all of the things, all of the nice things posted, not just clients. I'm talking when you get your agency website set up and it looks good. I want you to post about that. Again, this is more of like a self accountability, but other people get to see it, encourage you, cheer you on, review it. There are times where somebody has posted that they've gotten their, for example, their agency website completed. They posted a link to it and said any thoughts or feedback, and myself and some other members have gone in and actually reviewed uh, the finer points of that website. Oh, hey, you forgot this, or hey, is there a reason why you left this out, or it looks pretty good. I would maybe change this color though because of this reason. Things like that, where you get actual feedback, not just support and encouragement. Like, great job. Um, there's that as well. But having all of that in one place, that's why I say it's a great place, a safe space to work from. Live streams, you know the deal. We have training topics. We cover them at the end of the stream. We have kind of an Ask Me Anything format. which we should have here as well. I think we've got the time to do that. And again, the more you use these, the more engagement. This is super key right here, super key. The more engagement you have with us, and I don't mean just with me, but just with Ring Ads in general, with the training, with me, with the streams, with each other, the better and faster your results are going to be. I've seen it time and time again. The more engagement, the people who post all the time, the people who ask questions all the time, the people who are working with others all the time, the people who are talking to me all the time, and the people who are studying all the time and actually working in the business all the time, they have the most awesome results. Kind of makes sense. You can tell where their level of commitment is almost instantly, right? All right, support. You know the deal. Support channels. I got 5 of them listed. Actually, I put it's so important. I put it at the top of the cover photo of the Facebook group. There's 5 dedicated support channels that you can use. Mainly the support channels used for software usage, bugs, file errors, things like that. I like to use the live streams for business model and everything that's basically not software. However, if there's something private, like we talked about earlier with a vertical or something like gosh, I don't know. Maybe you don't want to say publicly that you're tight on funds, right? I get that, right? I would eventually encourage you to tell everybody that's where you started from once you do get going, because there are so many people that bootstrap, and there's a reason why a lot of this training is taught from a bootstrap perspective, and also why I tend to teach a lot of mindset, a lot more mindset than let's say I would normally teach. Um, if I were to hire somebody uh, to build this business, for example, um, I would not be trying to teach them this much mindset. I would try to hire somebody that already has it. However, I don't get to choose like that when it comes to my client base for you guys, right? Um, and really, there's nothing more than I love to see you grow on a mindset level in the business, because I really see when the light comes on and what you do with it, right? It's really cool to see people find about 12 gears and really kick it up several notches, or 12 notches, I guess in that case. But it's really cool to see that. Really cool to see that. So again, support is there. Let's talk about what were we talking about? Let me flash through these real quick. There we go. Sales script and the mindset. So we did cover mindset just a little bit, but the sales script, you're going to find that in a couple of different places. You can find that in the Facebook group under units and resources. Um, there's a tab in the Facebook group called units, and then there, when you click on that, you'll see resources. You should see the sales script. You'll also find it in part 1 and part 2 of the sales guide, or the pay-per-call agency success in 24 hours or less guides. You'll find it there. You'll find it in the COVID client challenge documentation. So there's a few places you'll find that sales script, and there's a reason why it's super important. Um, a lot of people, oh man, I've had everything from I can't close the client and I don't know why to and I'm talking about problems with the sales script, right? I've had everything from that to um, I don't understand. I'm not able to close them and do this and that. There's a lot of things that come up with the sales script, and I'll tell you this: uh, it's mostly because people aren't following it verbatim, right? There are some places you can deviate. Again, get creative later. Get creative later. Use the sales script. It works. I don't know how else to say it. I've had somebody completely, actually, here's a quick story for you. I had somebody once come into a room of 28 people while I was in the room physically and completely taint. In other words, negative, right? Completely taint everyone else in the room because they couldn't get a client. So they say, right? And I got an email response on the second day. There was 3 days of this where I was in a room with those people. And I got an email response that second night because I asked this person to, and it was a book that I got. I asked this person to actually send me call recordings of what she's saying because she's telling me she's following the script. I was like, that's cool. Send me some call recordings, and I'll tell you what. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to send me some call recordings tonight. I'll review them, but I'm going to be well, I said the words fucking pissed. I just straight out said, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be fucking pissed because your call recordings are going to tell me exactly what you're not telling me, which is that you are not following the script. And I already know it because I've already heard you. So there's no way your call record, like I've actually heard you in person that you are not following the script. You say you're following the script because you think you are, and then you're going to send me call recordings and I'm going to be fucking pissed. That's basically how I said it. Um, and I get this long book back refusing to send me call recordings, of course. And so at that point, with that refusal, I had another person that was in on this with me at the time, and I told him we got to boot this person immediately. Um, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Totally closed-minded, not in the right space. And instead, this person was taken in the back room by the other guy, and she ended up getting a client. Imagine that after all that bullshit and all that negative Nancy shit in the room, we're infecting everybody else, by the way, to a negative result, I might add, a significant impact. Um, she ended up getting a client. And then I asked the guy, I said, hey, you took her in the back room, you got a client. That's awesome. I'm happy for her. What did you do? And he said, we just followed the script. I just made sure she read from the script. And I was like, imagine that. Imagine that. Even somebody in a completely negative state can make this thing happen, right? And over again, right? Please don't be that person because that was really shitty for that person to do that. But at the same time, I can't control that. The only thing I can control are my actions, right? Um, Hindsight, I would say I don't have any regrets because more than two-thirds of the room got clients, and in a lot of cases got multiple clients, which means they could have very easily kept going and done what they needed to do. One guy even got seven clients, and I remember he was absolutely terrified of the phone. He had physical shakes from being on the phone, but man, he was a trooper. And so again, people from all walks of life can make this thing happen. I just want you to understand, sales script wise, it's important that you follow the script. Okay, don't tell me that you think you're following it. Listen to your own call recordings and tell me that you're following it verbatim, word for word, and then come back to me because there's going to be some finer points, things like in your tonal patterns where you're not expressing enough urgency, right? Or expressing it enough, I should say, or you're not asking for the money multiple times, right? You can't just ask for the money once and say, there, I did it. And he didn't say yes. Well, most people are going to say no initially. Almost everybody's knee jerk reaction is going to be no, I'm not going to give you money, right? No matter what, no matter what, even if it's something we want. There's things that we want to say yes to, but we always knee jerk to no, right? Always. Think about it. Think about your past purchases and your purchase history. Even stuff you bought through Amazon. There was an initial period of time where you look at it and you say, that's not a yes. It's also not a no, but it's like a right there on the no side. You need to justify. That's basically what happens on the phone call, but instead we just say no on the phone. It's much easier on the phone to say no. So yeah, you've got to ask for the money multiple times. You got to emphasize the urgency. The only way to know how to do that though is to study the script religiously, where at least 2 1-hour sessions, record yourself out loud saying the script over and over and over again. Don't worry about tonal patterns. We can get to that later, right? That's something we can cover later. It's that important. Okay, it's that important. Uh, Mindset. I guess that kind of feeds right into it. You got to have that commitment, right? Got to have that mindset. Um, I've seen people with, like I said recently or earlier, I've seen people with complete shit for mindset do very well, or could do very well with just a couple of shifts. Just a couple of shifts. I highly recommend that you put most of your focus on the mindset, especially once you get the agency stuff set up, because at that point you're communicating with business owners. It's going to be um, super important to how do I say this? Um, Not get tougher, right? Because you got to be who you are, but it's super important to manage your own expectations is the thing. Not that Not that you can't grow the business or get better closing rates and get the clients that you want. You can. Starting out though, you got to find your legs. You got to get your bearings first, right? That's the most important thing. And get commitment on from yourself and recommitment on what it is that you're doing, why you're doing it, that you actually can do it. All these things, these belief systems have to be in place, and usually that's before the first client in almost every case. And as soon as you have those in place, though, that first client, it felt like it took forever to get that first client, but the second comes so easy, and the third comes so easy, and so on and so forth, because you've breached that seal, you've broken that barrier, so to speak. But all the prep work, all the stuff that was done before then was what matters the most. Okay, all right. So that's a basic overview on mindset management of your own expectations. Expect to hear from a couple people that are going to be a-holes. Not everybody, but a couple. They're out there, right? Even on Thanksgiving, right? They're out there, I promise. Um, but that's the way of the world. That's the way of the world, right? We're looking for the people who are not like that, okay? And you will find them, and there will be a lot of them. Okay. That said, we got time for a Zoom, right? We'll do a couple extra minutes. That's fine. I'm gonna grab a link. There it is. Copy. I'm gonna come over to the Facebook group. I'm gonna paste in a link here for you folks. If you want to come on live and ask some questions, give some perspective on whatever it is you're currently going through, be more than happy to help. And I'm also while you come into the live Zoom, if you want to, it's totally up to you. I'm gonna look through the comments here, see if I can see if there are any questions I can answer here. Let's see. I'm in your mentorship, but I'm not taking advantage. Who is that? Let me go to the Facebook group and see what I can see here. What's going on here? Where am I missing? Why can I not see all the other comments? That's crazy. Let me try one more time. It's not showing me all the comments. That's crazy. Let me go to the actual link for the live. See if that'll do it. See if that'll do it. Nope. I only get to see like 4 or 5. That's crazy. Uh, that's so weird. Oh, Gelati, you're in the mentorship, but you're not taking advantage. Got it. Moses, I've sent you a join request to the mentorship group. If you wouldn't mind allowing me in, it's Moses Jonathan's son. I've been away for a while, but coming back stronger and better. Great. Good to see you. I'll do that right now. Moses, weren't you already in the group? I thought you were already in the group. I saw that profile and I was like, that's got to be a duplicate profile. I didn't check, but um, I mean, if you've already got a profile in there, I just approved the other one, but if you've already got a profile in there, only one profile, okay? Only one profile, please. All right. Um, one second. Let me take a look here. Hold on. Just a second. I wish I could see all the comments. I can but I can't see who wrote them. All right. Creative person, musician. So I totally understand what you're saying. Good. There's a frowny face or like a half frowny face on that. Don't be sad. That's a good thing. I mean, as long as you recognize that and you use it to your advantage, just listen to what I'm telling you. Get creative, just do it later. That doesn't mean don't ever be creative, right? I'm not that kind of guy. My point is I know what works, work it, and then get creative later. That's the best way to get creative from a place of strength, from a place of financial ability, from a place of resources ability wise. Like you're going to have staff and people in place to be able to do whatever your little heart desires at a certain stage, right? And that's what you really want. If that's what you're really after, start with what you know works first. That's the biggest thing. Um, After Thanksgiving, I have to start hard. Is there still time for the December Dash? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. This is prep session number 4. December Dash starts on December 1st, but it's not like you have to have everything done before the 1st to qualify. It's just whatever you get done client wise and all that points wise between December 1st and the 31st. Okay. All right. Looks like we've got Christina on. Let's, Christina, you got your mic on?
I think so.
Oh, there you are. Hey,
Yeah, I have a few questions as per usual.
that's okay. Shoot. What you got?
Right, first question is during the COVID challenge, you
Yes.
talked about this person who got the Google Ads account banned for months.
Yes.
Me being an overthinker, that made me a little bit nervous about, starting my campaign. And do you have any tips on how to avoid getting banned
No,
as
I
soon as I start?
don't. What I can tell you is this. What was that, like a year and a half ago? Google, something in their algorithm, something to do with ads and new accounts, and not even just new accounts, but existing accounts that hadn't been running for a while, started flagging accounts randomly, at least per my experience, on payment details that weren't
Okay.
that weren't being like the banks that they were putting into, or cards that were linked to banks that they were putting in as payment information into their account, for some reason were returning information to Google saying no, we're not allowing you, or flagging them. And so Google basically started flagging all the accounts that happened to, and by flagging I mean suspending for no good reason, by the way. And this happened across the board to like 20% of accounts, best I can tell. I could be wrong on that number, but
Okay.
it was high enough to actually notice it. You know what I mean? Across the entire industry. Um, and the only thing you can do about that is to plead your case with them, right? Is to plead your case.
Mm,
And it does take time, and it's not something that's easily done. But if you do what I was telling that guy to do, it took him 2 months to get it done, but he kept after it day after day, and that's what you got to do in order to get your account back. There was nothing that could be done to avoid that, except for maybe call your bank ahead of time, make sure that your payment details are not going to reject Google, right?
mm,
Um,
okay.
Reach out to Google support and make sure that they're not going to reject the banking details that you have. Um, Tell them who you are, what you're trying to do, which is I've got local clients. I'm going to run call ads, Google call ads to in campaigns to my local clients to drive phone calls. That's what you're doing. And so when you do
Okay.
that, it makes it a lot easier for them to know who you are, that you're legitimate. That's what they're looking for. They're just trying to get rid of black hat accounts and accounts that are not above board, which is not you, but you can easily get thrown into the mix. And there's nothing really to do to avoid it, except for maybe communicate in advance what your intentions are as you're doing it. That would probably be the only thing I could advise you to do, and not to worry so much about it, because again, uh, that happened with uh, in that particular case, that was an account that was inactive, and all of a sudden became
Okay.
active. So yeah, it happens. It happens.
Okay.
Facebook, perfect example. Facebook right now is going through some absolutely crazy shit. I've never seen
I
anything
saw.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's probably a combination of what's going on with the Senate hearings and
Mm,
everything. Yeah, it's not good, and it will level out at some point. But there's a reason why I tell you, and I'm going to be continuing to teach you on multiple platforms for traffic, because you need to be able to be diversified if possible, right? There's some verticals where there's only a couple traffic sources that make sense, but you want to have as much traffic from as many different sources as possible to be diversified, so that you don't have to,
mm,
let's say this, so that you fix the problem and you work on it, but it's not going to keep you up at night. It's not going to be a
mm,
nightmare. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Because if you're on one ad platform and you have 100 clients and your ad platform goes down, you are totally screwed. You got 100 clients that aren't going to be getting phone calls, and you don't know for how long, right? Could be a couple days, could be a couple weeks, could be a couple months. But if you have diversified, then and you're on multiple traffic platforms, then you may not be delivering at 100%, but your clients are still going to be there, and they're still going to, you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of benefit to diversification for sure. So
Cool. Thanks.
you're welcome. Anything
Anyone
else?
else?
I was gonna say, do you
Well,
have any other?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Is there a time of the day that you find most ideal to catch the decision maker?
Absolutely. Every vertical is different on that. That's where your market research comes in handy. But for blue collar, it's going to be usually early in the morning, midday, and in the evening hours. Even after 5 o'clock, you'll find business owners that are 6, 7 o'clock still able to talk.
Okay.
Um, some verticals are super early in the morning, just depending on when they send out their people. You know, like movers start when daylight hits, basically, or maybe a little after that, which means once their guys are out, it's about 7 to 8 a.m. and they're good to go, which is like super early. Earliest you're going to be able to call is, I believe, 8 a.m. on businesses, 8 or 9. Um, check with Dialer Central on that, but one or the other. The point is you can call right away, first thing, um,
Hmm.
all the way into the evening, right? 6, 7, 8. I mean, yeah, it's dark out, but moving companies, same kind of thing. Pest control, same kind of thing. These are guys that get up early and stay up late. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Regarding the December dash,
Yes.
when you get someone to give you an initial deposit to try things out, do you still consider that a client despite them, the fact that they could pull out after the trial?
You mean for the points and all that?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I do. Yeah. If
Okay.
you've collected, yeah, if you listen, if you've collected deposits, right? That's the
Mhm.
start of a client relationship. They have now paid to become a client, right? They have the
Okay.
privilege of being called a client of yours. That is by definition what it is, 100%. If they back out, for, by the way, there's going to be some people, not a ton, but there are going to be some people that you're going to cut loose of,
Hmm.
right? But if you collected a deposit, you ran phone calls to them, right? Um, they're considered a client, right?
Thank you. Is there a checklist somewhere that has a step-by-step process on what you basically do once you got the client to pay you? Or is there some information about that
There's
being part of the train?
there's not yet. That's more on the mentorship side, but
Okay.
that doesn't mean that I'm not teaching that to everybody. I will be teaching that. There is a checklist of sorts for setting up and onboarding a client, things to expect. Yes, there are those things, and I will have those out for you guys um, in time. And let's say this: setting up a campaign and going through that entire process is actually very straightforward. It can be done in less than 30 minutes, and that's that less than 30 minutes by other people, not me. Okay, I can have it probably done in about half that, but 30 minutes is about right for everybody else once you get dialed in. So it's not a complicated process, um, and the onboarding stuff and the ongoing support that you provide, those are all going to be training updates for sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Are you ready to
You
go?
look disappointed.
No, no, I'm not disappointed. I just, I just want to. I know you have a lot of questions, and I want to make sure that they're getting answered. How's everything coming on what you're working on?
Well, I've started setting things up. The thing is, I still have a 9 to 5 job.
I got
It's
you.
8 o'clock. It's 8 p.m. here. So by the time we finish the streaming, I
Yeah,
only have, a few hours before
I got you.
bedtime. So,
I got you. Well, work hard, keep doing what you're doing, and I'll tell you something else for all you 9 to 5ers out there. It's it's not forever. I'm never gonna. All of these things I'm asking you to do. Actually, everything I've asked you to do up to this point is something you only ever have to do once, which means you'll never have to do it again. If anything, you'll be teaching other people how to do it later on. And the cool thing about that is that I'm never going to ask you to do something in this model ever that either I wouldn't do myself or haven't already done myself, or ask you to do something that I want you to expect you to do forever, which means campaign management and setup, client acquisition, being on the phone. I don't expect you to do those things forever. And let's say, for example, oh, I'm great at sales though. I love being on the phone. Okay, well, that's great. Do you love being on the phone, or do you love being a business owner? See, you've got to really consider. I don't care what you love, what you don't love. I'm not asking you to do any of those things forever, and I don't expect you to do all those things or any of those things forever. I expect you to do them so that you can get them dialed in as well as you can, systemized, in other words, producing a predictable result, and then handing it off to someone who's good in that or good at that and can do twice. You don't hire people dumber than you, folks. You hire people smarter than you so that they can do better than you do, right? But they need to have some kind of map or guideline as to what your expectations are. So, do you have to be the master of the universe at closing clients? No. Do you have to have closed clients and know what their needs are and know what the ins and yes, you need to know ins and outs of all that. Uh, does that mean that your close rate is going to be the best out of all your staff? No, it should be quite the opposite. Your sales staff should have way better close rates than you using your systems and processes, your information, and you should be tracking them with. So you kind of get the idea of what I'm saying there. I don't expect you to sell forever. If that's something you're great at, I still don't expect you to sell forever. You should be doing a business owner. You should be a business owner doing business owner things, which means, yes, for a while you will wear that hat, and then as a business owner, you recognize that you can take that hat off and that you have to take that hat off. Because if you don't, you'll be stuck on the phone the rest of your life doing the same shit while there's not as much progress in all the other areas that need your attention as a business owner. For example, call delivery and campaign setup. You've got to run those well enough and systemize them well enough to teach them to someone to run the campaigns for you. Same thing for prospecting. So you're going to have a closer on the phone. You're going to have somebody prospecting for that closer on the phone. Then you got the campaign manager. Then you've got customer support and onboarding. Then there's an agency manager position, and I've listed a position for that as part of the scaling, which I'll teach you guys. That's coming. The point is this: the agency management position is one where you can run that position for an extended period of time and not have to spend a ton of time on your agency, yes. But if you want to be truly a business owner, then you hire an agency manager. I mean, if you need proof of that, look at any like McDonald's franchise. The managers have a boss, and that is called the owner. I mean, the owner steps in and he's wearing civilian clothes, or she is wearing civilian clothes, not the McDonald's uniform. Not that there's anything wrong with the uniform. I'm just saying they're not wearing an employee's uniform. And managers have a different outfit, but it's still a uniform. Like it's the, so the and the managers report to the owner at the end of the day. So there is a way for you to promote yourself to that, and not only promote yourself to that, but then have your agency manager trained up on how to expand and scale into the next vertical, right? So it's more than just one vertical as well, and that's where all the the mindset should be of I'm a business owner, I do business owner things. Don't get bogged down on any one task or activity thinking I'm going to have to do this forever, or that I want to do this forever, either or. Um, it's very much be a business owner. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So don't ever look at it as, oh, life's always going to be this way. I'm going to be in a 9 to 5, and because I know it can feel that way sometimes. I'm going to be in this 9 to 5, and I'm only going to have 2 hours to make my phone calls, and you just get stuck in this like you just add it to your routine. Whereas I want you to, yeah, do that, but then recognize that you're doing that and say, okay, how do I hire somebody and train out this position, right? And I'll provide you training and guidance on that. I have tons of it already. I just haven't released it to the masses yet. Um, so there's that's going to help you mindset wise to as you grow to understand. Okay, the 9 to 5 isn't forever either. So you may be
That'll
running
be nice.
yourself. Yeah, exactly. See, I want you to feel that and understand you may be running ragged right now, but that's not a forever thing. It's not a forever thing, and that's the important thing that you need to know. And everybody else too. It's not a forever thing. None of it is. None of it is. And that's the really um, neat thing I love about teaching is this model is because there's nothing that I teach that can't be taught to someone who I look at it as this. We don't hire 16-year-olds, but we could. It's a
Mm.
simplistic business model. I mean, we could practically hire who McDonald's hires, and this business will run. I mean, we don't hire those people because we expect them to be smarter than us, right? And I'm not saying everybody at McDonald's is dumb. I'm just saying, let's face it, there are people out there in the world that are smarter that don't work at McDonald's. So we're looking for those people because we know that the results they're going to be able to produce are completely beyond what most people expect from their employees, right? From their staff. So, excuse me. So yeah, business owner's mindset. It's a big deal. Don't think, Christina, that and everybody else um, that you're going to have to do X, Y, Z forever, right? The 9 to 5 is the 9 to 5. It's, if anything, it's there to serve your purpose, which is keep a roof over your head, keep you fed, and allow you the opportunity of the few hours to work yourself out of the 9 to 5, right? At some point, and by some point, that can happen a hell of a lot faster than you might think, right? In fact, I'm almost guaranteeing it's faster than you're thinking, which is good. So, anyway, just take that to heart. Um, kind of know more about what you're stepping into and what that really means, and be aware of those things. Any anything else? Does anybody have anything else? Any questions? Last call for questions. We kind of went over, but I don't care. I know it's still right at an hour, so I'm not that worried about it. I just didn't want to be on here for 2 3 hours every day for these sessions anyway. What any last thing, Christina?
Um, well, I do have another question, but I think I'm
Ask
bringing
away.
myself ahead a little bit.
Ask away.
Um, with prospecting, because you said we're
Yes.
going to do emails as well.
Yes.
What kind of process do you follow? Would you say I have a list? Would you send them an email first and say I'll follow up with a phone call tomorrow and then send the voice broadcast, or do you just do them as two separate things?
I tend to do them as two separate campaigns. I don't
Mm.
do them together. I look at it as a follow up, if you will. So there's a sequence, if you notice, of at least 3 emails that you can use, and then different subject lines that you can use. I send those in a sequence, and I usually do every other day. So there'll be, for example, there'll be a week where all I do is Ringless Voicemail Voice Broadcasting, and then the next week what I'll do is the email sequence, and I'll just follow up with those people. And by follow up, I don't mean
So it's the
email them.
same people.
It's the same
It's the
people,
same people from the
more or
voice
less.
broadcast. Okay.
Well, more or less. I mean, there's going to be some differences, right? There's going to be some people you pick up on phone numbers that you don't pick up on email, right? And vice versa. So
Okay.
the the same vertical, I would say, yes. Um, anyway, when someone emails you, by the way, and says, "Yeah, let's talk," or "I'm interested," you don't email them back. You call them, right? You don't email them back for an appointment. You call them. You pick up your phone and you call them. Okay, that is the ultimate goal of an email, is to get somebody to raise their hand, and then you don't waste any time. You pick up the phone and you call. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, because most people, what they'll end up doing is trying to get the deal via email instead of calling because they're afraid of the phone, or they don't think the phone's going to work, or whatever the issue is. I'm telling you right now, you want to kill the deal, email them back. Try to schedule a time. That's
I've
it's
done
a
that.
yeah, it's a waste of time. Call them,
Yeah.
call them. I mean, and a lot of people are like, well, how do you do that, and how do you get away with that, like it's a crime or something? And I'm like, it's not a crime. Look here. If you and I were, like, for example, Christina, you and I are on a Zoom right now inside of a Facebook live stream, but let's say there's a question that you forgot to ask me. We could basically continue this conversation inside of Facebook, inside of the group, like we did yesterday. Actually, that's a perfect example. We just continued the same conversation we were having in a different place. So if I email you and you email me back and I call you, it's still the same conversation. Nothing's changed. The only difference is I've taken it up a level commitment wise so that you can see, oh shit, he or she is calling me. This must be important. They really do have calls that have to go somewhere. Because if you email them back and book a time and this and that, it sounds very not urgent. You know,
Mm. Okay.
if you're bleeding out by the neck and you go into the emergency room, you don't set an appointment to go to the emergency room, right? You're wheeled into Bay 4, right? And they take care of you right then and there before you die. That's the level of urgency that you have with these phone calls that are coming in every day. They got to go somewhere right now, and I mean right now. That's the level. Okay, so that hopefully that explains. And that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. But yeah, that's where the emailing comes in. I tend to do every other week, alternating. Um, you can do multiple runs on Ringo's Voicemail Voice Broadcasting. Just don't do them all at once and then all at once again and then all at once again, all in the same week. That's crazy. Space it out, spread it out, uh, do all your follow ups, make sure all your follow ups are done. Transition over to emails, do all your calls that way and follow ups that way. And then as you expand out to some of the other acquisition methods, start using those as well, which I'll teach you those later. But right now, ringless voicemail and email, by far the easiest way, the lowest cost way to get clients for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to call it Ask Away, though. Be sure to join the Ring Ads Facebook group. It's free. Our software is free. In case you're watching this, you didn't know that. And also, what was I going to say? The December Dash starts next week, next Tuesday, 11 a.m. We have one more session tomorrow, session number 5, the fast start session, I should say, where we are covering kind of like a wrap up, if you will, of what needs to be done and really just getting you in the right mindset for what's coming next week. Keep working hard, spend your time working on what it is that you need to work on, and ask questions as needed. Engage with us. We're here to answer those, help you out. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, if you couldn't tell, but that's okay. I can't guarantee I'm going to be around all day today, but I will be here and in and out, and I will do my best to check in on those and get your questions answered right away, no matter who you are or where you're at or what you got going on. Ring Ads is here to help you. Okay. That said, I'm going to bounce out. It went a little bit over. Totally okay with that. It was worth it. It was necessary. Um, and keep, like I said, keep working hard, keep doing what you're doing, and I'll catch you folks at 11 a.m. tomorrow on the next session. For those of you that celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. For those of you that don't, this is the best time of year. A great reminder of to remind yourself as to what to be grateful for, and find yourself. I challenge you. Find yourself to be grateful for the things that you feel are a burden in your life, right? Um, I'll give you an example. Like Christina, you're over there in the UK, right? And she's working a 9 to 5. They're on lockdown right now. They're on lockdown for God knows how long, and she's working a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? If I were her, if I were in her shoes, and she's probably thinking the same thing, I would be grateful, and I'm sure she is, that not only does she still have her job, but that the job is able to still pay her, put food on the plate, and enable her to spend those 2 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever she can spare, right, into this business to work her way into a position of abundance to do whatever she wants to do with her time. And I got a very strong feeling, like I don't know much about Christina. I know a few things about her, but just based on personality, how she comes across, the level of commitment she has and the questions she asks, I can see a lot about her. I've learned a lot about her from what she asks. I can tell you right now, when she becomes wealthy, there's no doubt in my mind that many other people are going to benefit from that. It's not a her thing. It's a make the world better thing. And I'll tell you right now, that's 100% in alignment with who I am on a personal level. And I see that. I'm not blind to that. So, and there are many of you out there that are also like that. The difference is she's making it happen. You have the opportunity to make it happen just like her. Go do it. That's all I'm saying. Okay. But I do recognize that. I do see that and give credit where it's due. That is, That's super important. And we'll talk about that some other time. Money is a tool, money's a magnifying glass. Um, so in other words, if you don't have a lot of money, if you're broke and you're an asshole, then uh, when you're wealthy, you're a big asshole. That's basically how it works out. And the same could be said about people who are broke that treat people well and do well with others or help out as much as they can when they're broke. When they become wealthy, they help change the entire face of the world, how we operate, how we think about each other, even. And so take that to heart. I know I do every day. It's one of the reasons why I get up, even when I'm not feeling so good, to do what needs to be done. So that said, I love you. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Be grateful, and I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. All right. Bye for now.
Cool. Cool. You fall. Back on my shit with a new advantage. I leave it up to you to settle the damage. Diamond, yeah, I know it's foreign to him. I came from the guts of rural Alabama. Steph Curry wrist, watch with the handle. Simple motives, gotta lead by example. Not too many make it out when they doubt. Never been about bailing off of my route. Rain gang, got the city HD. Hate to see my brother die every week. Numb to your vision. My life got me too fucked up. Disrespect to make a nigga go dumb. Pillow talking while you nursing that bitch and turn you to a scrub. I let prices from the plug. Bay Shore, Ocean View, or win Adidas with the boots. Niggas out here slinging arbitrage, so the money really no excuse. Welcome to the realm.